Hello, friends. Hope all of you, your near and dear ones, and your teams have been keeping well and are all doing fine. The times that we have been going through over the last few months have been unprecedented. We've always been told to plan for the best and prepare for the worst, but it is only in rare times like these when these managerial and leadership skills are fully tested on how resilient we are, what character do we really possess, and how can we truly exhibit the leading ability to guide and motivate people around us to come out of a crisis situation like this unscathed and stronger. Times like these truly give us an opportunity to sit back, introspect, go back to our drawing boards, rescript our business strategies, but most importantly, take stock of our current talent, take care of them, and figure out our future talent management and skill meeting strategies. It is clear that pre COVID practices of leading through crisis are still relevant today. In fact, we have several examples where we have seen leaders across industries demonstrating important principles like frequent communication, transparency, providing reasons to believe, and strategizing post crisis growth. But in these unique circumstances, engaging people in ways that are actually meaningful to them should be the ultimate goal of any organization. Leaders should play a key role in simply reaching out to their teams and checking on their personal well being and their family's well being, and also provide as much information as possible on what's happening at the organization. What does the future plan, future look like? Maintaining human connections, authentic empathy, and transparent communication will go a long way in maintaining and building bonds. Of course, several businesses will get hugely impacted by the crisis, forcing leaders to take tough decisions. Leaders will have no choice but to have candid discussion with their employees. The inevitable salary cuts or downsizing will need to be handled with even greater sensitivity than before. Transparency, honesty, developing a high trust quotient will be critical to command respect and trust in these times. It's time to trust and be trusted. It is extremely likely some companies will come out of this having ruined the trust factor because of how they have read and how they have handled the situation. While it is also possible you can emerge with trust enhanced. What we do in this moment will be critical for how we are viewed in future. Technology has its limitations and is no panacea for a face-to-face conversation and the human touch. But with whatever little we have seen in the last few months, this crisis, this pandemic, may be the best thing that's happened to employee engagement in the recent times. Several organizations are becoming more sensitive and responsible towards their employees. Managers are spending more time with their teams, they're engaging with their teams far more than before. It's important in the current times to stick to the mission, not the plans, which actually have gone for a toss as it is. It's important not to confuse hard work with productivity. We need to manage our resources wisely and use the current opportunity to reconfigure, fine tune, and focus on areas where we would like to place our long term bets. We shall collectively now need to go a step further and ensure that organizations' talent supply chains can not only respond to further outbreaks, but also capitalize on opportunities that may arise. Also, the way we view, plan for, and acquire talent is going through a huge shift of approach. Meeting the current and future talent needs was generally always a toss up between build and buy. But now another B is bound to make a strong presence felt in the mix. That is, borrow. It means there will be far more project based, flexible, and delivery oriented assignments coming into play with far greater acceptability of that model from both employees as well as the employees. Traditionally, there have always been challenges to getting the best quality talent for these assignment based roles. A vast majority of organizations have always treated retainers or contract resources somewhat differently. Organizations are prepared to pay a little bit more to get the job done through these resources, but the downside is that often there is a feeling of isolation amongst this group. They're not necessarily invited to all our Diwali parties, fun team meetings, or skill or team building programs. They don't necessarily have access to the health and well-being benefits that are generally available to permanent employees. They're also expected to come in, get running immediately, and start the very same day. In contrast, a permanent employee would have a proper induction into the team and definitely have the opportunity to build connections between them and their co-workers. But all that differentiation is already blurring and has been completely erased in certain ecosystems. Going forward, organizations and leaders need to invest on and have to have a defined plan for educational well being, financial well being, and mental well being of this segment. There is also a clear silver lining to these dark clouds. Preconceptions of how work is done and where it is done from have been proven malleable by the rapid shift to work from home culture. Siemens, for example, recently created a work from anywhere policy for 140,000 of its workforce, also allowing them flexibility for a proportion of their work week. This opens up opportunities for people who may have been geographically disadvantaged by being distant from a workplace, by providing them flexibility they need to manage their homes and families in parallel. The commute to work for many has been reduced, and so the work life balance may be improved, obviously, once a workable routine is established. All this presents to us a huge pool of potentially great yet untapped talent pool who can make an immense contribution to business and community while also managing their personal and family obligations at the same time. Work from home seemed like a far fetched dream a few months back, but most companies today do operate remotely. Similarly, the employers will soon come to realize the benefits of gig working model and have leaner organizational structures. For some time now, most leaders would have chosen permanent employees over gig workers as they would prioritize aspects such as loyalty, long term commitment, among other aspects. However, this pandemic has now ensured shift in priorities to things like managing costs, achieving more and less, etc. etc. After identifying the critical roles required to achieve the business outcomes, organizations need to identify which ones can be outsourced on contractual basis and which ones would require permanent talent in place. Based on their current role requirement, business and HR leaders can also identify employees who can wear multiple hats within the company. From a talent acquisition perspective, there has to be a marked shift in strategy. TA specialists need to broaden their horizons for looking out for right fits, create and communicate new content around employer value propositions, and explore untapped challenge channels. The core values that define the hiring policies are not likely to change, but the mix of talent is surely going to. While employers must keep a closer watch on the recovery process, continuously make changes wherever and whenever required, and also fine tune their tone and communication from time to time. Employees will also need to behave much more responsibly and maturely during this transition phase. As things progress, and while we all get used to the new normal or newer ways of doing things, there will be constant shifts in the way things work, and the so called normal will keep changing too. The best way for talent managers and business leaders to keep going and growing would be to reimagine their business and HR models and keep adapting with the changing times and situations. So, finally, friends, we all have been fast tracked to the future of work. And the best and easiest way to be ahead of change, or at least to be with the change, is to acknowledge it, enjoy it, and have the ability to flow with it. Till we meet again, stay safe and enjoy and embrace the change. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.